Gonzaga has been a national powerhouse for a couple of decades now, but this undefeated team clearly represents the school's best chance to finally win it all. The Zags are balanced, deep, unselfish, talented, and they play with an unrelenting pace that breaks their opponents. They have a chance to be an undefeated national champion, but running the table in the regular season conference tournament and the NCAA tournament, that has historically been difficult to do. John Wooden's UCLA teams did it in 1972 and 1973. After that, a near miss. Bobby Knight had Indiana undefeated entering the 1975 NCAA tournament, but that team lost in the Elite Eight. The following year, though, his Hoosiers ran the table and won the whole thing in 1976. And believe it or not, that's the last time anybody has accomplished the feat, though several teams have come close. Indiana State, led by Larry Bird, made it to the national championship game undefeated in 1979, only to fall to Magic Johnson's Michigan State team. The 1991 UNLV Runner Rebels, who were coming off of a national championship, were one of the most dominant teams ever and undefeated entering the NCAA tournament, but they were upset by Duke in the Final Four. Wichita State started 35-0 in 2014, then fell to Kentucky in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Following year, John Calipari led Kentucky to a 38-0 start, but his Wildcats were upset by Wisconsin in the Final Four. This 2021 Gonzaga team may not have the star power of some of those legendary teams, but they enter the tournament as the clear favorite to win it all. Will Mark Few cut nets in Indianapolis on the first Monday night in April? We'll see. But make no mistake, Zags fans have every reason to believe their team can get it done.
The Zags are coming, and perfection is the precedent. We now have the privilege of welcoming in the Dogs head man Mark Few into CBS Sports HQ. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Well, there's little drama surrounding the number next to your team's name as we get set for selection Sunday on CBS. Still, I'm sure there's an excitement surrounding the program regardless, but Coach, there's been nowhere to channel that excitement over the last 5 days. In a season of starts and stops, how have the guys handled this most recent layoff between the win over BYU and next week's tournament tip?
I think they've done a good job. You know, we've had several days of practice, and you know, they've been good practices, and so we've been able to work on, you know, all kinds of things that us coaches are always, you know, worried about or paranoid about, or things that especially that popped up after the BYU game. But they've had a great attitude, and I mean, I can just tell you, after everything we've been through last year and all the way through this year, the guys are just so happy and so thankful for this opportunity to get to Indy and play in this tournament.
Well, it's been an absolute joy to watch throughout the season. I do want to go back to that conference championship game. BYU gives you their toughest test since Christmas, if you will. A second-half surge erased that double-digit deficit almost immediately. How valuable was that experience for you guys to be tested in the way that you were on Monday?
Hey, listen, Joe, I think it was great. And as you and I were talking off camera, that doesn't mean it was comfortable for me or for us. But I remember I was talking to Jay Wright. He's a good buddy of mine, and earlier in the year, and he was explaining, and you know, that we needed something like this, that we needed to be tested and pushed, and still be able to get through it. But just to feel it and absorb it and experience it, and I think it was probably the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, oftentimes we talk about getting that learning experience through a loss. You get the learning experience and don't have to suffer the loss, so a win-win for the Zags once again. It's nothing new at this point of the season, but we have seen a number of brand-name programs having to bow out of their conference tourneys, Coach, due to positive tests. You navigated both your schedule and this pandemic without incident. Can you give us an idea of what it's been like for you guys trying to ensure that nothing derails this run?
Well, hey, listen, I mean, this virus there's so much luck and good fortune involved and all that. But I would say that, you know, the guys have been great about really hunkering down, especially this last month. We had our run-in with it, you know, back in December. And ended up costing us a big time matchup against Baylor in Indy, ironically. And but since that point, the guys have just done a wonderful job of making huge sacrifices and getting us to this point where, this was not easy, where we had to go to Vegas while we're in the midst of trying to test 7 days clean just so we could get to Indy. So that was definitely stressful as the head coach of the program. But again, all the credit to the guys, the training staff, our medical people, and just basically Gonzaga in general, just helping us get to this point.
Well, Coach, you stay clean and you win enough games and you welcome an elephant into the room named perfection. There is no hiding 26-0. Is there any weight on your shoulders, on the guys' shoulders? How much is it talked about, this quest for perfection?
Well, yeah, I can honestly say, Joe, we had not talked about it prior to, the aftermath of BYU. I mean, we were just dialed into just next game and winning. And I really think, to me, that's kind of our mindset, or I know that's our mindset with the NCAA tournament. I mean, we're not talking undefeated. We're talking just win in advance, and keep doing what we've been doing all year. But I do think it was important, and I took the time after the BYU game to tell the guys and just congratulate them and acknowledge what an incredible feat is to be able to go undefeated. And when you look at those teams that have went into the NCAA tournament, undefeated, I mean, that's quite a group. And in my estimation, it's an honor to be associated with all those teams. But we're just, from henceforth, we're just moving out and trying to win the next one.
Just going 1-0 one more time. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time here on CBS Sports HQ. Best of luck moving forward.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
How about it, Coach? Getting the guys rallied for tourney time, top overall seed Gonzaga. There is no doubt perfection is the quest. Here's a look at when the action will go down. First four tipping up on March 18th. Then we get to the first round on the 19th and 20th. Second round as teams try and punch their ticket to weekend number 2 in the Sweet 16, the 21st and the 22nd. It's all going to come to a head. Championship Monday on April 5th.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.